continues to exist because it makes more of itself. And this is thanks to our own self-replicating DNA. DNA is housed in the nucleus of each cell and has instructions that dictate what cells do and what genetic features we express. However, cells like us age, die, and get damaged. Growth of an organism is only possible if it adds more cells to its cell. Thus, cells must divide to replicate dead or dying cells, repair damaged tissue, and help an organism grow. Imagine, if you will, at that very moment that each of you started off as a single-celled zygote or fertilized egg, and afterwards it begins to divide. The first cell becomes 2, the second division makes 4, then 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1048, 2096, 4192, 8384. Whew! You get the picture. Growth is exponential, and then you are born a baby of trillions of cells. Quick sidebar. For those of you watching this and plan to use this to represent the science of embryology, biologists do not know when life begins, let alone what life truly is. That is a philosophical question which individuals need to decide for themselves. Around 50% of zygotes formed do not survive due to defects in DNA and the structure of the embryo or the environment of the mother's reproductive system. All I know is that if you are watching this, you survived your gestation, but nature is still trying to find ways to kill you. Back to something less awkward. Sex! Life replicates itself by asexual or sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction allows a single-celled organism or cell to make a genetic copy or clone of itself. The advantage of asexual reproduction is that it is faster. This form of reproduction is exclusive to bacteria, archaeans, as well as some algae, plants, fungi, and protozoans. Sexual reproduction solves the problem of asexual reproduction, which is every offspring is the same. So why is sexual reproduction important? No! I know what you're thinking, and I must stop you. Algae do not get it on listening to Marvin Gaye, and they certainly don't have the consciousness of sex. Come to think of it, some of you might be here because of Marvin Gaye. Sexual reproduction introduces genetic diversity. Genetic diversity allows for members of a population to have varying genetics. That way, when the environment changes, it will be more likely that some members have the appropriate genes to deal with those changes. Perhaps genetic diversity is most relatable to agriculture. If one were to plant crops that came from the same genetic stock, virtually all crops will succumb to the same diseases. With genetic diversity in the seeds, it lessens the damage of those diseases. Sexual reproduction is found in most eukaryotic organisms, but really only exclusively in some vertebrate groups like mammals. However, all eukaryotic cells undergo asexual reproduction at the cellular level. In these next few videos, I will be focusing on the cell cycle, mitosis, and cancer. Afterwards, we will see cell division and sexual reproduction.
One of the basic principles of cell theory is that all life is made up of cells and that cells come from pre-existing cells. The cell cycle describes the life of a cell starting as a mother cell and ending as a daughter cell, which then becomes the mother cell of the next generation. Before we discuss the cell cycle, we need to go over some basics of genomic DNA. A genome is a cell's DNA packaged as a double-stranded molecule. However, it differs based on whether a cell is prokaryotic or eukaryotic. If prokaryotic, DNA is found as a single circular structure. This DNA is often called a chromosome and is housed in the nucleoid region, which is not a true nucleus, but nucleus-like region inside of the cell. Prokaryotes can also have independent circular chromosomes that have nothing to do with growth and reproduction. These are called plasmids. These carry instructions for other actions. The most studied are those that cause antibiotic resistance. In eukaryotes, there are several double-stranded linear molecules of DNA that we call chromosomes. Each species of eukaryote has a specific number, but it's possible for two species to have the same number of chromosomes. Humans have 46 chromosomes within their somatic or non-sex cells, but we also share this number with an amphipod and a species of antelope. So while chromosome number varies by species, it's the DNA within the chromosomes that indicate what species an organism is. Humans have 23 chromosomes in their gametes or sex cells. When working with chromosomes, we use the letter N to represent the number of types of chromosomes present. N is an organism's haploid number. In humans, it's 23. However, most sexually reproducing organisms have 2 copies of each chromosome inherited from their parents, so we designate these 2N. In humans, 2N is equal to 46. In other words, 46 is a human's diploid number. During fertilization, a haploid sperm meets a haploid egg to create a diploid zygote. During this time, all homologous chromosomes, that is, chromosomes of the same size and containing the same genetic information, pair up. So mom's chromosome number 1 matches with dad's chromosome number 1. Mom's chromosome 2 matches with dad's chromosomes number 2, etc. Chromosomes house genes, which are made of specific nucleotide sequences that encode for a specific trait. There are variations of a gene called alleles, which means that offspring could display similar or different characteristics to one or both parents depending on the pairings of these alleles.
And in our next video, we will apply all of this to see how a cell divides in two.